What's up, everybody? So recently, I wrote a modern pulsing investigative tension cue. It was signed by a library and it was sent to some music supervisors. So hopefully, it's gonna make air soon. I'm gonna play it for you now. So let me get it up over here, and then we'll talk about it on the flip. All right, so there you have it. That is called Trail of Evidence. So, again, Trail of Evidence and modern pulsing investigative tension. So, it starts off with the eighth note pulse and some drones, basically, is the way that the cue starts. And our eighth note pulse is coming from one of my favorite free synths, and this is the Podolsky. Great synth. We have the Stampede bass as the sound that we're using there, and then if I open up the arpeggiator, you see that we just have a eight-step pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, eight-step pattern, and just using eighth notes. And our delay is just eighth on both sides, so we don't have any kind of craziness going on one side, but we just have a constant eighth note pulse. So here's what we have here. Real simple. And that's our driver, right? That's our driver, that's our pulse, kind of gives us our energy. The other thing that we do have is we have a low drone, which is a pad called Cyclosa, which is from the Spitfire Audio Labs collection, which is another great sounding collection there. So let me play that for you. And you see, just working the modulation, the CC1 a bit, just to play. Oh my goodness, sounds amazing. I mean, I think that sounds absolutely amazing. And then another drone that's a little higher. This is from Alev Lens. I know she's some type of vocalist, but her, man, I love the sounds that's in this collection. There's a lot of great sounds in here, but this specifically, I'm just using the drone here. Again, like I said, the high drone. So let's play that. And again, you see it's just working the modulation just a bit there. So again, that is how our cue starts. I mean, so if we get all three of those together, and that's the first two bars. So after we get through the first two bars and just get it, quickly established with our pulse, the next thing that we do bring in a high pulse, and it's another Podolsky scent, and this is called the Cutter Box. And this is I really like this sound as well. Let me get up here, play that for you, and pay attention to the cutoff filter. So we automated that. Just open and close the filter slowly. Um, yeah, just gives it some nice movement. And then the other thing that we introduce, of course, after the first two bars is what I call our counter melody. Just a real simple four note counter melody. So let me play it for you. So, again, I think a really, really cool sound. It's a guitar harmonics plucks from the Spitfire Audio Lab series as well. But what really makes this sound interesting is, hang on, is our use of delay. So let me go here. So we're using a stereo delay here, and got some reverb on it as well. And of course, you guys know I high pass everything, so got a high pass. But we have a half note on the left at about 50% of our wet dry mix. And then on the right, we have a quarter note at about 80% wet dry mix in terms of how we have that set. And if you guys notice, I mean, it's only four notes, but that delay is just kind of just carrying it through the entire phrase, which really makes it great. So delay is just a great way to just add some more dimension, to your mix, things of that nature. So again, that is it. Besides us having a cymbal scrape or a gong scrape, and then also a loop that we have coming. And the only thing is, I have the loop coming in on beat two, as opposed to hitting right on beat one. So everything is, not hitting together. So those are got an auto save. So that's it. That is all that we have for our intro. And then coming off of that, it gets us right into our first theme or our melody, which is a combination of a layer of about three different sounds. So I'm going to just get you from the intro into the melody, and we'll break that down very quickly. So gotta let that gong finish ringing out. So we'll stop it right there. So our melody. So one thing I want to bring to your attention about the melody is, if you notice, is that it always ends with a question, like it's never resolved, right? And I wanted to, with this being an investigative type of cue and them trying to find answers, I kind of wanted to always kind of leave the melody, kind of hanging just a bit unresolved, as if, they're trying to figure out, what this case is, and things are unresolved as well. So that's what I do there. Excuse me, let me take a swig of water here. So, so what I did, this theme is really kind of built on the F harmonic minor scale. So it has that raised 7 in it. But what I also have is a raised 4. So I'm not exactly sure what you call the scale, but that's, I know it's kind of like the F harmonic minor, but it has a raised 4 in it. But anyway, so my melody is built off of um, that particular scale, and what I use is the Midnight Grand. Really cool sound. What I want to bring your attention to is the atmosphere intensity. You see I have that at about 75. You can dial that where you want it if it's at 0. So you got that, but if we take it up like I had it to around 75, a great sounding piano. Just really, really cool. Midnight Grand from Fracture Sounds. So I recommend it. Really, really cool. And then we add one of my, another new library for me. Not very new, but relatively new, but I'm really, really digging it. And it's Keyscape. Very, very cool. And I'm using the Duo Upright Innocence, which is a wing upright and a classic toy piano. You see I have the wing dialed in just a little more, my noise down, pedal noise down, but you got the shimmer up really, really high. And this kind of gives us just a little top end sparkle. Okay, and here you see that we're using a stereo delay as well, but now we have an eighth note and a 16th note. So eighth on the left, 16th on the right, but you see we have a 50% mix here and a 14% mix on the other side, but and the other piano has the same delay on it as well. And then outside of that, and let's bring this up here so he's with the other melodic pieces, is the guitar. So I have a guitar, and it's the Haley guitar, but I'm going to show you how I have that process. So, of course, high pass, and then the insert that I'm using on the guitar is the Chris Lloyd Alge guitars. And, of course, I have it re-amplified. I have it on the crunch, and you see I have the delay, the eighth note delay, all the way pushed all the way up, and then also some reverb, some club reverb. So not too big, but have that pushed up all the way up as well. And this is what it sounds like. So it just, sounds really, really great. You put all 3 of those together. And then there's your melody. Excuse me, which sounds great again. So we have those 3 doubled up. And then the only other thing that happens is as our melody comes around again, so when we get to this next section of the melody, I just go up an octave, add another octave up, but only play half of the melody as we're going into our first edit point and our breakdown. So let's just play a little bit of that section going into the breakdown. So I'll play with the piano just the end of the phrase before the melody goes up another octave. So here, when we get into our breakdown, oops, sorry about that, you will notice a few things. So one is that our pulse drops down to a quarter pulse. So we were at an eighth note pulse, right? Now we're at the breakdown. We drop to a quarter pulse. We pull the guitar out, and then our melody shifts. So now the guitar, that guitar pluck melody, boo boo bee boo ba boo bee boo, becomes the main melody now. And then we also add a low time and a snare, just to give it just a little more push, I think, and a little more interest. And then we introduce for the first time this solar pad. So I'm gonna play that for you. Okay, hang on. Let's take some of these other things out. All right, and let's do it again. So just just a real interesting sound. It's just a texture, and I think a really really cool texture for tension. And then what we have with that is we've added we introduced some strings, but we introduced some strings with distortion. And I'm gonna let this play through the next section because you can really hear the distortion when we get into the next section as the intensity builds. So yeah, so we just messed those strings all up, but it really adds a nice texture to the piece. And then the other thing, I'm not sure if I showed you, but I definitely want to show you. Um, no, I did show you. I think I showed you the cutter box, so we're good there. So that's the only thing. So like I said, the melody now. If you'll check out the melody here, what happens is, so let's go here, our keys and the pluck. Now that becomes the melody. So this is our melody now in the breakdown. So again, question, question. It's almost like they're asking a question and kind of asking it again, but we're still not getting, any answers. So really, that is it for this section. One thing you will notice at the end of this breakdown, you notice before the breakdown, a very clear edit point. You notice coming out of the breakdown, we have another very, very clear edit point. So we want to make sure that we're giving some good edit points. So here we are. I'll play the whole breakdown for you through the edit, and then we're into the last section. Okay, so now we are into our last section, right? And you notice, like I said, a very definitive edit point there on the eighth notes, bum, 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 bum. So we got a nice strong edit point, and then we come back in with our melody. When we come back in with our melody, we start with it layered up the octave just like we did before it went to our first edit point. So we're laying up an octave already. The only other difference now is when we get to the second half of this melody and we're about to close this thing out, I actually add another octave up on the melody. So if I just play like the keys for you right there, hang on, let's take that off. So if I play the keys for you, I won't play the guitar. So let's play here. So we hear, right? And now we go another octave above. Right? So the only thing I want to bring to your attention here is if you do decide that you're going to play, all the way up there, adding that other octave up there, make sure that your velocities are not too high. So you see 37, 31, 27, 27, but this velocity, is 42, right? If we go to this melody here, all the way up there, right? But look, see, velocities are low. That velocity is 41, but that velocity is 37, 31, 27. So really low in terms of where the velocities are, just to make sure that those frequencies aren't like popping through like crazy. And then the only other thing that you'll notice is, of course, we brought the guitar back in to the party from this short vacation. I'm not sure, where'd you go, guitar? How was it? It was good? Okay, good. So the guitar had a short vacay. Guitar is back. We left everything else in, right? We took Solar out. Solar was only in for the breakdown. And you heard the distorted strings. I played that for you earlier. We're back to the pulse. And then we add a pulse of the snare and the low toms. Right, just to give it a little more energy as we go out. And then you will notice I'm going to play just the end of the phrase is that the question finally gets answered in the melody, excuse me, when we get to the button, when we get to the very end. And kind of my thinking, and I don't know, I'm thinking like, okay, well, they've wrapped up the case. They got the case wrapped up. So now we also answer with finally going to the tonic on our melody. So here we go. Just the last final part going into the button and the ending. So you hear it there, right? So we get to the end there. So dun, 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 and then it finally resolves and answers. And again, I liken that to like maybe they finally got their suspect or something like that. So yeah, there you have it again. Trail of evidence, is what it's called. And, I hope, at the end of the day that it was something that was interesting, that was helpful to you. Again, this is tension. So it's a little different. As you see, not a whole bunch of sounds are used, but it's all about textures, colors, things of that nature. So I hope it was helpful to you. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Please like, subscribe. If you did enjoy it, it would really certainly help out my channel. And come back and see me again next week for another video. All right, thanks and take care.